it down. You cut the hardcore crew chewing the fat. You cut us shooting the shit. You cut us in the moment. Now, how did the response was that at the at that particular event?
When they were doing the interview, he says, "I'm a professional person, and I can go." Joe will probably understand this. He says, "I am a professional person. I like to have a script, play by play, what's happening. When they push you in a building with 500 gaming fans, you haven't got a clue your guests are. You haven't got a clue what you're talking about. It's all off the cuff." JR says, "I don't work that way." And when they went for a break, obviously, on a 2-hour chat show, they must have gone off for refreshments and then came back. JR said to him in a roundabout manner, "This is the biggest clusterfuck I've ever worked for." And they reported him back to Vince, who fired him after the came off stage.
So it had nothing to do with the fact that
and
Flair was drunk, I'm sure.
JR is adamant that he did not have a beer on that day at all. He says, "You show me somebody who's got a photograph of me drinking a beer." He did not. I says, "I am a very professional person. When I'm working, I do not drink." Ric Flair had been on a 10-hour binge.
Duh. Ric Flair.
Woo! He says, "I don't drink." He says, "But I'm one of these people. I don't like being pushed in a corner and someone says, 'Right, 2 hours, run the show.' What show? Who are the guests? What have we got to talk about? Well, make up a topic. You're a commentator." He doesn't work that way.
Well, you know what, and that's... Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say, and it makes a lot of sense. I agree with him. If you're going to host a show, and Rick, this is the perfect example for you because you're actually hosting a show. Yeah. There go Ric Flair right there. You got to know who's going in your topics, who's doing what. You know, what is the name of the person you're interviewing, his background? Because if you're just thrown in there and you don't know what the hell, you don't know who that person is, they could say, "Oh, you know," the fans will say, "Well, hey, you know, he's the, I don't know, video game champion, or he's the actor portraying, what's his name? Elijah Woods. He's Frodo." You know, if you don't know those things, and this guy walks on stage and you shake his hand, you basically at a clusterfuck. You don't not know what to say or what to do. Like, so you have to basically play it by ear. And if you don't know nothing of the topic, the location, the people you're going to interact with, that's another thing. You don't know if you're going to have diehard wrestling fans or diehard gamers or diehard, freaks of nature. You got to know something of what you're going to host, because if not, forget it. And there are times that in my managing career, I was put on a show to manage my tag team, and all of a sudden they will pull me over and say, "Hey, I want you to commentate." And I would say, "Well, I don't know anybody here, and I'm a bad guy. How the hell am I supposed to know?" And what the guy just said, "Wing it." So I had to go through every person, write their information down, and see if they're good guy, bad guy, where they're from, all that. So it does happen. So I can understand where JR's coming from on that.
Yeah. If you've got a spare, like, I think it runs about an hour and 10 minutes. That I've just posted the interview, and it's a very good interview, and it was only filmed April 14th this year. So it really is. It's up to date, and it's. If you look at that guy's YouTube channel, he's a radio presenter, but he's got loads and loads of wrestlers that he's interviewed. How he gets to interview people who are still working for the WWE, I have no idea, but he obviously does.
Is that Rosenberg?
No, he's called Sam Roberts.
Oh, Sam Roberts, because he does a radio show, so he has, like, sponsors and shit. No. So
he's got almost everybody that's in the WWE is on his radio show at some point. I don't know whether he's got some kind of deal with the WWE, but he's got Cesaro on there and Roman Reigns.
He said CM Punk on there, I think, at one time. He's had a lot of big name wrestlers on there. He's spoken with Daniel Bryan. I don't think he spoke with Dan Bryan when he was the champion, but he's definitely spoken with him. So absolutely.
Yeah, he's not a bad interviewer actually. I found him today by accident. I just saw Sam Roberts' WWE interview with Jim Ross.
No, I've watched.
He talks about being fired from the WWE, what he actually knew, and I won't spoil that for you, what he actually knew in the Montreal Screwjob, Owen Hart, and Mick Foley's stunt off the cage, what he actually knew and what he didn't know about that.
Oh. I mean, but
so I think he'll be quite surprised what happened on the Owen Hart thing.
Yeah, but it's what happened with, Jim Ross on the event. I think if he had known that it was going to be kind of like a free-for-all thing, then he should have said straight up that he shouldn't have had that kind of a gig. He should have told everybody straight up that this is not my type of thing. He should have had maybe somebody else done it.
Well, you know what? I want to throw a question out to everybody here. Ever since Jim Ross has joined the WWE, he was there when it was WWF as well.
Yeah.
He really pretty much got the worst end of everything. He was the one that got burned supposedly by Kane. He had to embarrass himself by coming out with the fake Razor and fake Diesel. He had to get in the ring a couple of times. Jim Ross, technically, his whole WWE tenure, even though
he's gotten the shit end of the stick.
Exactly. Now, he's made the big bucks, and he's been in the high-level positions, but his on-air personality, it's always been the shits. I mean, the McMahons really, he was like, they made him a stooge when he was never even a stooge.
Do you know why he was picked on? He actually mentions in the interview.
Go ahead, enlighten me.
I didn't know that. I didn't know this story, and I've never heard the story before, but it's on that interview. Because he was the voice of WCW.
Yep.
They shit on him big time. Always have done.
Well,
because he was always known. He says now, I'm known as the voice of the WWE. But before that, he was always known as the voice of WCW. I didn't know he'd been with WCW.
Yeah.
Yep. 19 years. So he's been with WCW longer than he's been with the WWE, I believe, because he said he started in 1994 with the WWE.
Yeah, he actually finally left because he was going to get, and here's something you should actually know if you watch the documentary in the Monday Night Wars. He was going to get up to the next level, but you know who stepped over him?
Well, I don't know if you can say the same person, but do you know who shat on him from a big height? And he said the bloke had no commentating skills whatsoever.
Eric Bischoff.
No. According to him, the person who had no interview skills or microphone skills whatsoever, he says that it was a train wreck every time he got on the mic, and I fully agree with his comment, Randy Savage.
Wow. Now...
He says these are his words, all Randy Savage was good for is his in-ring ability and locking Miss Elizabeth in the changing room. He says, and that's not an idle statement, that's a fact with photographic evidence that he was paranoid and he even locked her in his own car. That guy, as much as I like Randy Savage, that guy had got some serious mental health issues. To lock his own wife in a car because she was talking to men.
Yeah, I'm sure, there was actually a lot of documentary stuff on that. Some people said that he had done that because he was trying to protect her from other guys or she had asked to do it to change. I didn't know about the car. I heard about the actual.
And do you know he reckons is the best colour commentator, and he still should be colour commentator. He hasn't got any issues with.
Who's that?
Cole, but the best colour commentator ever, according to him.
Who?
Jerry the King Lawler is his number one, because he says they gel together.
Well, they do.
Paul Heyman is number two.
Well, yeah.
He says that guy only has to look at people and he gets heat.
You know, what's funny is if you look back, WWE has had maybe 3 to 4 best color commentator and play-by-play people. You know, Lawler and JR. You've had Jesse Ventura and Vince McMahon. Bobby Heenan with anybody, mostly Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah,
and just those 3 commentary teams. You put them on a live air show, forget it. Just Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon alone. It was the most. I used to sit down and love I used to forget the wrestling. I used to just concentrate on Bobby Heenan. because his commentary was so hilarious. You just forget that the man's an actual manager.
Yeah.
And do you know who he said was an discovered talent? I wouldn't say he was undiscovered, but according to JR, he was a talent who should have been pushed a lot more than he was. Lord Alfred Hayes.
No. And he really never got pushed a lot. Hayes, unfortunately, he was great. He was great on the mic, but he never really... he kind of always was a guy who just sat in the back and kind of did some back interviews, but he really never did a lot, unfortunately.
The only time I can remember Lord Alfred Hayes, now I don't know if it's because he was a Brit, and when we used to get early WWE on the TV, I think they used to call the show Superstars, and he always used to host that. But I don't remember him doing a great deal of Raw, or a lot of the WWE, what I would call important stuff. It was more Superstars and the shitty programs that they used to put out.
Well, by then, keep in mind, Superstars was one of WWE's main shows. Raw, that was like, Superstars was big before Raw came around.
Yeah.
Hell, Wrestling Challenge was big.
Exactly. And that's when Alfred Hayes, that was more the Alfred Hayes era.
No, you know what? Lord Alfred Hayes was used mostly during the Superstars, but he didn't have really the hosting part. He had basically the little skits, or he did the update with Alfred Hayes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, that was more where he shined, if he ever did shine.
You know, and I think that's what's missing today. That's another thing that's missing today in professional wrestling. It's the actual commentary team that gets you so interested and worked up and you have a good time. You know, Michael Cole, you got the King, you have, I think, bless you, you have Bradshaw. I think Bradshaw there is overkill.
Yeah, Bradshaw sticks out like a sore damn thumb.
Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? We're in the moment, but we're going to wrap things up right now because we do have to get to another in the moment as we're going to be talking about WWE's Payback. So let's get on to that. Andy, where can everyone find you at?
Yeah, www.stokehaunted.com.
All right. We have the classic wrestling manager, Joseph Knight. Joe, where can everyone find you at?
Find me on Facebook at facebook.com, Joseph Knight Manager. You can also find me on Twitter as J Knight Manager. And, you know, subscribe, say hello, send me messages. Hey, I'm coming up with a couple of things that you're going to be finding out soon.
We have the incomparable Lance Moss, and you can find him on youtube.com/LanceMossTV. Lance, what do you got going on?
Album reviews, NASCAR discussion videos, redneck gourmet cooking videos, a little bit of this guitar stuff, and, well, please subscribe. And if you hadn't subscribed, why hadn't you?
Why haven't you indeed? I have. And,
yes,
of course,
we have
we have one half of the iVlog tag team, and he's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, where's James?
I threw him to work.
And he ran off, and he's stalking AJ again.
Hey, you know what, Will? What is it? Pimping ain't easy, and you're sending your buddy out, you're pimping him out?
He's waiting for WWE Shop to have new Bold Leaf T-shirts coming out in the future.
Well, while he's doing that, why don't you tell the guys all about the iVlog and where you guys can find you at?
They can find me at www.iblog.tv/user/Bay Area MVP, where I do everything from game shows, music, video games, and we're still waiting on NFL season, folks, so stay tuned. With the next couple months, we'll be letting you know what's going on in the near future.
And, of course, you can always find us over at dailymotion.com/hardcore wrestling radio. You can still find us over at youtube.com/HWR show. And, of course, you can always find us over our Facebook page at facebook.com/hardcore wrestling radio. So for everyone here, I'm your hardcore host, Rick Head, saying we'll see you when we see you. Thank you for listening to this edition of In the Moment. Be sure to follow us over at dailymotion.com/hardcore wrestling radio. And be sure to like us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/hardcore wrestling radio. And please subscribe to us over at youtube.com/HWR show. Until the next time, this is your hardcore host Rick Head saying we'll see you when we see you.